Good morning. Here we are again, another day. Another day. This is the Journey of Mela Lifestyle, morning moments, madness, and meditations. If you're just joining us, thank you. My name is Camila Tibbetts. This is a daily meditation and a daily just check-in between all of us of what's going on. We look at a meditation. When I say meditation, it's not like sitting in a lotus position being silent, but I'm giving you a thought, I'm giving you a nugget and something that you can meditate on, which means like you're thinking about it, resting on that throughout your day. And so Mela Lifestyle is an e-commerce website that I am launching. Please go on there now. You can sign up to start getting my newsletter where there'll be more content and more insights and instructions. It's melalifestyle.com. And so this is just me taking you behind the curtain, right? Me showing you the days, the madness, my heart, my frustrations of launching a brand and particularly launching a brand in the middle of a global pandemic, right? So here we are. Again, my name is Camila Tibbetts. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built and scaled 2 brands in the past, but this is new for me, Mela Lifestyle. And again, it's a website, a lifestyle website that really focuses on 4 categories. And those categories are home, wellness, beauty, and style. So I curate products and companies to provide to a community of people that just want to live in their home and have their home be reflective of who they are in the world, right? Because we want to mirror who we are all the time. So yesterday, sometimes I feel like this is like a prophetic word for myself, right? Because literally, I feel like when we have our meditations, and you guys give me feedback if this is happening to you as well, is that when we have our meditations and I'm sharing with you and we're looking at what we're going to focus on for the day, it never fails that whatever we focus on that morning comes back like a boomerang and like hits me, right in my spirit. Like whatever I'm talking about or whatever I'm encouraging you on, I'm faced with that same thing. And that's what's the beauty of certain type of leaders or transparency, right? Is that I can share something not from a place of being up here, but I can share it and really take it on for myself. I can really take the feedback on for myself and the lesson for myself, because a leader should be growing at the same pace of their organization and of their team. So yesterday we talked about, agency versus freelancer, my frustration with feedback. And, yesterday was a tough day. It was one of those moments where, you may feel like you're over your head. Like I just felt I had a lot of difficult conversations yesterday. It did not midday, there's a tendency, I don't know if you have it, but there's a tendency that, you say F it and run, forget it and run. And, we can't abandon ourselves in the midst of the storm, right? Like when we're in the storm, we need to stay in the boat. Like we can't just run from conflict. We can't run from conversations. And above all, we can't abandon ourselves and what we're called to do. So our first meditation this morning is learning how to fight with the frustration, right? So what am I saying? Like when the frustration comes up for you, whatever that is, whether it's in your relationships or in your business or in whatever you're building, in the structure that you're building, you want to make sure that you can learn to fight with the frustration, right? That you can face the frustration. And that can look different for different people. And when you're frustrated, I don't want the emotion. Don't let the emotion take over of what your next action item needs to be, right? So I'm gonna say that again. You're not gonna let the emotion of the frustration take over of what the next action item and what the solution needs to be, because we always need to be in solution. Like we can experience whatever, you can feel your feelings. You can feel your feelings, but you're not gonna let your feelings paralyze you or cause you to abandon your course or abandon yourself. Because all frustration really is a sign of investment, right? If you weren't invested, you wouldn't be frustrated, right? If you didn't care, you wouldn't have frustration around it. So we have to learn how to fight with our frustration and how we're going to move in and out of feeling overwhelmed. And yesterday was a day, like by the end of the day, I had a 6:00 appointment, and there's a place called Italy here in New York where they have this sandwich called a soppressata, and they have this dessert that's like a puff pastry filled with cream in the middle. And so I ended up, I basically was eating my feelings. I had like the sandwich, I had the dessert, I had the latte, I had the kombucha, like I had all the things, right? And I'm sitting there, and we wear a mask right now in this season. And so I'm sitting there with the mask, with all the food, and the feelings just come, right? I'm like, what am I doing? starting this project. I'm depending on other people. They're doing the best they can. I'm doing the best I can. It's starting to be like, there's starting to be some tough conversation, some passionate conversations around that. And literally the tears just came out. And that's the great thing about New York City, because you can sit in the middle of a Flatiron with the mask on and have big alligator tears and no one cares. And that's good, right? If people are just walking by, enjoying their day, doing what they do, and I'm just overwhelmed. And we talked about that yesterday, right? We talked about how the leader, wherever the leader's at, that's where the organization, or that's where things would cap. And I couldn't in that moment let my frustration paralyze me in waking up this morning and having this meditation with you, coming back home and following up with a lot of my vendors and a lot of conversations that I had to have. So our first meditation is learning how to fight with the frustration, right? You want to learn how, when you get emotional, when you get frustrated, what are you going to do to take care of yourself in that moment? And then how are you going to go back out and still have that next action item? So fighting with frustration is just a sign of investment. It's going to come up, right? Because us talking and us having these conversations, and me kind of taking you behind the veil of starting of launching a startup and building a business, is we're really looking at the story. You want to look at, and you can even write this down if you want to do some type of writing about it, the story behind your success and the story before your success. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you see anyone and they've had some type of success or progress, or they've achieved something, there's always a story behind it, right? So it's okay, what's behind that? What led him or her to get to this point? Because there's something behind there that led to that, right? There was something before the success that happened. And this is what we're building today, right? We're really looking at our story behind our success and our story before our success. So yesterday when I was frustrated, you have to think that these are just chapters of a story, right? That's all we're doing is building a story. You're building your life story. You're using your voice to communicate your story. So when things happen, when the challenges come, when the storms come, remember, this is just a chapter, right? This is just a chapter of a bigger story. Even Mela Lifestyle, even starting a business, is just a chapter in my life, right? There's so many other aspects of who I am as a woman, but me as an entrepreneur, it's just a chapter. Yesterday was just a moment, right? And we rise up and we go forward in that. So I really want you to think about that passion, right? That passion, what's really getting you to that next place. So again, the emotions are fine. You want to learn how to fight with the frustration. And also I want to really encourage you, you want to just have that, you want to learn. So let's circle back. You want to learning to fight with the frustration. The second thing is you want to identify when to whimper and when to roar. Okay? Yesterday was tough. I was in the corner, sobbing like a baby. I was frustrated. I wanted to do the ethics and run. All those things happen. But you have to allow yourself the time to whimper. You have to know how to take care of yourself. You have to parent yourself sometimes, right? Sometimes all I want to do is call my mommy. My mom passed away, and I could tell myself, oh, I'm all alone in this big city, but I know how to keep myself safe today as a woman, right? I know how to keep myself emotionally safe. I know the things that I need to do to fill my cup so I can go back out. So our 2 meditations today are learn how to fight with frustration. Second meditation is identify when to whimper and when to roar. Okay, because people always oh, you're so passionate, oh, you're so intense, and all those things are when you're really strong. When you meet someone who's really strong, there's a softness to them and there's a tenderness to them, and there are people that understand that, right? There are friends that I can call that really know me, know my stuff, right? And can call me on my stuff and can be there for me and walk beside me on this road. And I also want to encourage you that everyone is not invited into your inner court. Okay, so what do I mean by that? It's we're kings and queens, we're here. You really should think of yourself as a leader, as royalty. You shouldn't have this poverty mentality or this mindset that you're less than. So if you're going to think of yourself as royalty, if you're going to think of yourself as a king and queen, the king and the queen always had an inner court. And not everyone not everyone can speak into your life, right? So you really want to identify that inner court, that counsel, that wisdom counsel. You know, you can think about it's for people. They don't have to be just like you, people that aren't going to co-sign, and keep that inner court really tight. So when you have the moments when you're fighting your frustration, when you have those moments where you need to whimper and you just need to be encouraged, you have that inner court that you created that no one else has access to. Because if you're going out and you're trying to get opinions and you're trying to triangulate a situation, what do I mean by triangulating a situation? What I'm saying is that, you know, we know how a triangle goes, right? Okay, so this is me, I have an issue with you, right? This is me, I have an issue with you. I don't feel confident. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna bring someone else in, right? So I have an issue with you. I don't feel confident. I need someone to co-sign. I bring someone else in. So now we've created a triangle of a situation when really the situation is just between you and I, right? And we don't do that as leaders, right? We don't do that. When we have an issue, we go to the person, if we feel like we're off, we have our counsel, right? We have our inner court, we get feedback on, but that inner court that inner court doesn't change depending on what the situation is and who you want to co-sign. Like, your inner court's strong. You have to think about it like your executive team. And that's not what we do. So we have to whimper, we have people that can encourage us, and then it's time to rise back up, right? Then it's time to face the day again. I have an alarm on my phone and it says like rise and grind. So yeah, yesterday was tough. I'm in the midst of launching a brand. There's a lot going on. I'm making myself accountable on social media of how it's gonna look. And I don't know, and that's being super vulnerable, right? But what you really have to know is that there's a time to whimper and there's a time that we rise up again and we roar and we go back in the fight, right? So when you're in the arena, you need to be in the arena, whatever that is, right? You need to know that when I'm out the arena, I can whimper, I can take care of myself, I can do my aromatherapy, I can do my self-care, I can take my magnesium, like whatever you do. But when you wake back up and you rise back up in the morning, you're back in the arena. And when you're in the arena, it's time to fight. Right, and you want that. Like, think about the people you want on your team. Like, for me, like, you want, as an entrepreneur, we have, right, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, if you're a leader, you have to be scrappy sometimes. Like, you have to have grit. Like, you have to have drive. Like, you have to have that thing that's gonna push you to the other side. So being scrappy, having grit, being passionate, that's unparalleled because that's going to produce action, right? All those things are great things. So we use that when we're in the arena. We pull that out of us, right? We find people that iron sharpens iron. But when the challenges come and when you're frustrated, you need to learn how to fight with that frustration, because our grit, our emotions, our frustrations, I'm so overwhelmed, this is too much for me, that can't get in the way of when we're in the arena, because that will cause you to take some losses, right? And you're gonna take some losses, but we wanna have a strategic plan and take those losses from a place of wisdom, right? From a place of example versus from a place of frustration and emotion. So again, our 2 meditations today: learn how to fight with the frustration, right? Knowing that frustration is a sign of investment. Our second meditation today is identifying when to whimper and when to roar. Because we're in this together, we're growing together. This is Wednesday, this is hump day. You know, we gotta see it through and finish strong for the week, and know that when we do these meditations, it's an opportunity for us to get stronger together, to become wiser together, and to do better. So again, this is the Journey of Mela Lifestyle. Please visit our website, sign up for our email. There's a lot of insight and instruction that are going to be coming in, and I would love to share with you a lot more content. And ciao for now. Bye guys. Make it a good one.